Hello watch fans, you're watching a review of the Tissot Seastar Powermatic 80 here on Watch On channel. So I bought this watch maybe like almost 3 weeks ago, and it actually hasn't left my wrist for all of that time. So what do we have here? So we have a 2018 version of the Tissot Seastar. So we got different versions. We got the versions before this design, and then we got this design from 2018. We got a new design in 2019 where you have the printing of the water resistance on the dial. Here we only have the Tissot 1853 below 12 o'clock. Then we have Seastar Powermatic 80 and then Swiss made. So on the 2019 version we also have the 300 meters of water resistance printed on the dial. And on the 2020 version, they actually use silicium or silicon in the hairspring, and then you also get the silicium printing on the dial. And that's a huge upgrade, but it's also a premium on the price. So this I bought brand new from Creation Watches Italy on eBay. I paid $546 US. And you can definitely find this watch below $600 US, and then if you want to buy the newer versions, you move upwards towards $1,000 US. It also comes on either this stainless steel bracelet, which is kind of maybe a modern Tissot version of the Jubilee bracelet, and also on a rubber strap. So if you don't like this bracelet, you can definitely get it on a nice black rubber strap, and then you will not be handling this bracelet, which is one of the weaker parts of the watch in some aspects. So what do we have here? An automatic watch powered by the Powermatic 80, which is the Swatch Group's ETA 2824, which is modified to beat at 21,600 vibrations per hour. And then you, on the other hand, get 80 hours of power reserve, which is a huge upgrade. So 80 hours of power reserve, more than 3 days. You can see bigger brands moving towards 60, 70 and 80 hours of power reserve, and that is just the way to go with movements these days. It is a 43 millimeter watch exactly from one side to the other. It's 13 millimeters thick. It has a completely flat sapphire crystal, so it's really from the bottom here, where we have a screw in case back, to the top, 13 millimeters. A kind of weird lock width of 21 millimeters, and then from lock tip to lock tip with these small locks, you can see they're not very big, we get 49.5 millimeters from lock tip to lock tip. Having a closer look on the dial, you can see it's a quite simple dial. I really like the 2018 version here I have because it's very clean. Tissot 1853 at 12 o'clock, as I said before, just printed on the dial, as well as Seastar Powermatic 80 and Swiss made. Very simple. I really think that the date window down here at 6 o'clock is perfectly executed. So it really becomes kind of anonymous. I think they really did a completely nice job with placing it down here, but also making it round, very small, and inverted in the color, so you get white on black instead of black on white. It really just blends in and it fits perfectly. This is definitely one of the best executed date windows I have seen in a long time, and I think Tissot did a really nice job instead of placing it at 3 o'clock, where it would really just get into the design and really just maybe destroy some of the harmony of this very simple dial. The date window is kind of recessed like 3 layers into the dial, and then you can see we get applied hour markings, a triangle at 12 o'clock, and then these sticks at 3, 6 and 9. And at first when I saw this watch I thought they were too small, but I'm really surprised that that's actually not at all my conclusion right now after wearing this watch for weeks. And why not just have a closer look on the lume? As you can see, it's really nice lume. I must say I'm very impressed with the lume on this watch because it's extremely responsive. And when I lay this watch down on my nightstand, it just keeps on glowing. It's almost too much. So I actually think we're moving into Seiko territory with this lume and this Tissot Seastar 1000. It is of course a water resistant watch down to 300 meters, which is also why they say Seastar 1000 feet is approximately 300 meters of water resistance. A really nice thing is that you of course get a sapphire crystal And then you get a ceramic bezel insert with a lume pip at 12 o'clock. I was really just maybe a little anxious because I saw some reviews and read some reviews that the numerals, Arabic numerals and minute markings on the ceramic bezel insert here were really hard to read because they're this kind of maybe a little dark gray into black. But I must say I don't think that's true because I think they're really easy to read. Maybe it's another story if you're actually diving with this watch, but I doubt a lot of people would dive with this watch. It's a 120 click unidirectional bezel. It does have a little play, as you can see here. It doesn't move out of its place, but you can just move it a little. It's very easy to grip. And everything aligns perfectly. I really also like the big fat hands on this watch. One of the worst things you can do with a dive watch, in my opinion, is make small, slim hands. Dive watches are supposed to be masculine and legible. And especially when diving, you need big hands. And these hands are really kind of almost oversized. And I think that's a really cool feature. And then you get this very slim second hand with a lume-filled little pip here at the end. And then the T for Tissot, which is a little cheesy in my opinion. I could have done without the T here as the counterbalance on the second hand, but it's not a big deal. As you can also see on the screen right now, you can see the dial is this kind of grayish black, mostly black, but if you put it out in sunlight, it really has a sunburst effect, which is really nice in my opinion. I think that just gives the watch a nice, shiny, classy look. So having a closer look on the case, which is also one of the highlights in my opinion, we get these parts on the side, which is high polish. Everything else is brushed. And also on the other side, a big, easy to operate screw down crown with the T for Tissot. I really like this case design. For some people it will be a little too much, maybe a little too flashy, a little too much polishing for a dive watch, but I really think it just gives it its own character, so I'm a big fan of this way of doing the case. But just be aware, these are smudge magnets and they collect dust like crazy, so you will have to clean this watch quite frequently because this is just like a magnet for dust and smudges and stuff like that. It is a see-through case back where you can see the Powermatic 80 movement, all the printing, screw down case back. This is mineral crystal on the back side here. It has minimal finishing, as you can see. You get a Tissot rotor and then a little bit of finishing on the bridge, but nothing else. The movement here isn't the most accurate I have tried. As you can see, I get between 5 and 7 seconds minus, but the great thing is that I actually get a really nice amplitude. So this means that this movement is really nicely lubricated and everything works. This is not the silicium, and then it's probably a little more inaccurate, but you can go to a watchmaker and have it regulated. But it's perfectly fine for a watch below $600 to be 5 to 7 seconds off in my opinion. So moving on to the bracelet, I actually like this bracelet. It doesn't really taper, but I really like the overall feel and look of it. It has some sharp angles here, edges on the side which is brushed, but it doesn't really annoy me. I don't really think it kind of irritates the skin or anything like that. You get 5 parts. You get brushing, polishing, brushing, polishing, and brushing. And I actually like it. I think it's a different bracelet to the typical oyster style bracelet we see on a lot of dive watches. The clasp is very secure. It's just a simple click and fold over. It can be a little hard to open this part of the clasp. You really need to have a little bit of a nail to be able to open it, but I really like that it's actually kind of secure feeling. The letdown is of course that this is stamped metal and not milled metal. In 2018, when this watch was produced, this was already out of fashion. It looks like a Rolex Submariner bracelet from 1982 or something like that. It's not a big problem. It's very nice to wear. You don't really notice because you have a very secure clasp, and this also makes the clasp just a little bit thinner, but it's still a little bit of a letdown that you don't get milled metal in my opinion. You also get a dive watch extension, which is again stamped, which just looks really cheap. And notice you get 3 micro adjustments, which is just too little. You only get a few millimeters to micro adjust, and you only get full links, no half links, and that's a problem. They are pin and color, no screws, which is also kind of annoying, but it's pretty easy to adjust this bracelet. So on my 18 centimeter wrist in circumference, you can see this 43 millimeter watch. It wears big, it is a heavier watch, but it really is nice to wear, and I was quite surprised that I would like to wear a watch like this. I'm really more comfortable with 39 to 41 millimeters, but 43 here, I think it wears really nicely. And I really think that this is kind of the perfect combination between a dive watch, a sports watch, and kind of a more dressy, classic looking watch. It's a very versatile watch, and if you're looking for a modern style dive watch, you can definitely look into the Tissot Seastar 1000, and if you want to spend a little more, then definitely go after the 2020 version with the silicium hairspring. It will make it more anti-magnetic, and it's kind of an upgrade, but it's almost the same watch anyway. It's just the movement they upgraded, and a little with the printing. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this watch. The bracelet isn't the best bracelet in the world, but it's wearable. The clasp is a little bit tinny, as you can hear. It is on the heavier side. It is of course a thicker watch, but if you can live with all of these things, as well as this little wobble here, I think you get a really nice dive watch, which is really a big competition to the more expensive Swatch Group brands like, for example, Longines Hydro Conquest, the new ceramic version. I hope you enjoyed the review of the Tissot Seastar 1000. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a comment down below. A like, a thumbs up would also really be helpful. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to visit my website wristwatchpassion.net. Thank you. Bye.